Hey, good evening. It's me again. It is 2046 hours on a 4th of February. I just got done cleaning up my garage. And, I got a very expensive hobby. So I just got done doing that. It's been a long day. And the deliberation of what I was going through on what I'm supposed to talk about for tonight, I was, contemplating on all the stuff that I need to categorize before I start talking to you guys. Now that I'm done on that side of the house, I'm back sitting down in front of my computer desk. And I think just by looking at the title of my video, you already know what the deal is. The 5 things, I'm going to keep it to 5 things you need to know if you are a military home buyer, right? I get it. The majority of us end up getting sent, moved, transferred, PCS to some part of the United States that you probably don't know of, don't want to go to. Now, if you're Navy, you already know where you're going. It's mostly on both coastal sides and, the Gulf of Mexico side, a little sprinkling of bases inland, but it can't be that far from the water. So that being said, uh, let's just get on with it. The first thing that you need to know is this: whether you're in that locale or not in that locale, if you are heading towards that particular area, like let's say Washington, or let's say Oak Harbor, and you are somewhere in Fallon, Nevada, and you can't get a 2 week leave period to go do some window shopping for houses and know the neighborhood. You get on the phone and you talk to somebody like, let's say, another agent, or get into Zillow, right? Or if you get a chance, you drive up to the neighborhood yourself. Then you see the signs. Okay, let's tackle this one at a time. One thing you don't want to do is you call that name on that sign, on that board that's sitting in front of the house that's for sale. No, this isn't just for military home buyers. This is pretty much for everybody. You never call that number, that 800 number or that area code number, which will directly hook you up to who? Not an agent that would want to represent you. I know, I do this too, but I'm telling you this now, what the trade secret is. That number directs you to the agent that is representing the homeowner. You didn't get it yet? Okay, why don't you want to talk to that guy? Because that guy is invested into selling the home for the benefit of the homeowner himself. Okay? And then, of course, he gets another commission because he's selling it off to a buyer. That's what he's going to be representing. Figure this out. How is the agent that's marketing the home, right, who already is invested to the benefit of the homeowner, how is he going to be able to represent you in an unbiased fashion? It can be done, right? I'll be honest with you. I've done it a few times, though I prefer not to do it. The most common situation for me to do if I'm representing the homeowner is I get a phone call. Hey, Marcus, can I see your home? Because I'm interested in it. I just saw your post in front. Have you been going around the neighborhood lately, man? Are you from? I'll have a conversation with her. And if I know that it's a legitimate buyer, I will contact another agent in my office to represent her. Because I cannot represent, I will not represent both parties, though I can. Okay? My investment is to the homeowner that I'm representing. So again, number one, do not call. Well, you can call and have, kind of ask questions about the home, but I would prefer that you get your own agent to represent you. That being said, number two should be, before you proceed on to the next step on a home purchase, have somebody represent you. So if you're moving from the Air Station Coronado, San Diego, and go to Fallon, Nevada, or Naval Station Naval Air Station, Whidbey Island, or anywhere else, or Hawaii, right? I would suggest you get some referrals, talk to somebody that understands the military life, that understands what you're going to go through, that understands what you're looking at. Somebody that could represent you as a buyer, right? Somebody that would represent you diligently, that would work purposely for you, okay? And there are plenty of ways to make that determination. If you need any advice, you can get a hold of me. And I don't care where in the world you're moving to. I know agents. I have a database of agents that works for my company, and I can make the calls for you. You don't have to follow my advice, but then again, that's the least that I can do for you guys, for what you guys do out there, so that we're able to do what we do while we're retired now, all right? So that's number one, okay? I know it's a lengthy process, and we are on our 5th minute. I'm trying to get this down to 10 minutes. So number 2 would be, everybody asks me, hey, Marcus, how accurate is Zillow? Oh, great news, bad news. There's pros and cons to it. The good news is that if you're a buyer, you can literally go into Zillow, punch in the area you're looking at, it'll spit out the neighborhoods, the homes, the listings, the price, a narration about the home, a description about the home, marketing plan about the home, hey, you know, this and this and that, and stop there, okay? If it's telling you something about the home, hey, you know what? Great. At least it gives you a bird's eye view of the locale, of the neighborhood, of the home. And stop there, okay? Because on the right side, it's going to tell you everything else. How to get a loan, how to do this. That's going to be another topic of conversation. That's going to be another 30 or 40 minute. I'm sorry, my phone just, daughter's trying to get a hold of me. That would be another 30-minute video on how to literally, or what are you looking at when you're looking into the narratives of what is being said about information about a home purchase process. You'll see that on Zillow. They're not just talking to you about the home. Now they're telling you who the best agents are to call, who the loan officers are you need to call, a calculator to determine how much you'll end up paying. I get it. These are, understand, when we're talking about numbers now, right? Do not get fixated, because they don't really know your numbers till you end up talking to a loan officer, right? Again, that's a different scenario. If you're moving to a local area, again, for example, Seattle, you don't want to talk to a 1-800 number that's based in Delaware, or a Citibank, I'm just using that as an example, or Bank ABC that's based in Texas. You get it? Right? This is a 30-year investment, 360 months. I need you guys to be diligent. Do not take the emotions out of the picture here. If they tell you, oh, it's a $1,500, oh, man, my rent is $2,000. I can afford $1,500. Time out, okay? My suggestion would be use Zillow for the narrative of the home. But any names you see on the right side, unless it's the agent that's selling the home, no. Okay? Paid advertisements. I've done that before. And the last thing I want you guys to do is to talk to somebody that probably has nothing to do with the home, that doesn't even know the home. Granted, as a realtor, I can get on the MLS, it'll tell me personally, I am qualified from the Oregon border to the Canadian border and everything. If you split Washington into half, down the Cascades, everything Western Washington qualified. But I'm not going to sell a home down in Chehalis, which is 2.5, 3 hours away. Okay. Now, if you're military, I will travel anywhere. Okay, to sell or buy a home for you. I'll represent you really well, because I know the 10 military facilities that sits around the Puget Sound, and I don't care what service you are. Right. We do have 7 military Navy facilities, an Air Force, an Army, and a Coast Guard base here. That's 10. Okay? So anyway, that being said, that is my gripe on Zillow, although Zillow does have some good things to say about the home. Okay? If you guys got any questions, comments, send me a note, man. You know how to get a hold of me. You can send smoke signals or, Morse code through the pipe. It'll reach my house. Right. The third one is this. You think, or I would think, that as an agent, that the buyers know this particular issue. A lot of let's say a majority of first-time home buyers, when they're getting into this realm of being a first-time home buyer, did you know they don't even know, or some of them don't even know, that they don't have to pay their agent? But I don't work for free. So people are intimidated to come to us or to talk to us, or if I hand them a card, because in all sincerity, they really don't know the process. They don't know how this works. They don't know how the system is built for them. Okay? Yes, as a buyer, you don't pay me if I'm representing you, but how do I make money out of this? Homeowners, they're the ones that pays the guy that puts the post in front of their house to represent them, and the guy that's going to bring a buyer to buy their house. That brings us back to number one thing that you should know as a home buyer. Okay? Don't call that number if you want that guy to represent you, because they're not representing you really well. They're representing the homeowner. So you see the point now? So again, if you don't have any connection to the neighborhood, I can direct you to an office that works for my company. I can talk to the agent that knows the neighborhoods really well. And if you're military, I certainly will find an agent directly working for you. Because to us, words do count. Am I not right? Right. So that's number 3. Number 4, I'm past my 10 minutes now. So half of you guys are already asleep listening. We're going to make this really quick, all right? When you use your VA loan benefit, the only thing that is zero is the down payment. A lot of people come up to me and they say, oh, we're good at closing costs, right? Then we start talking about closing costs and all hell breaks loose. Okay? You can literally sign a contract without spending a dime. But if you don't watch out and you don't understand how closing cost is, you're gonna have to come up with the closing cost when you close the home. You get that? So the down payment is zero. You don't have to use FHA to put it 2.5% or higher. You don't have to use conventional a loan to put in 5% or higher. VA allows you to put no money down, so zero. But that does not mean you'll end up paying nothing when you grab the key eventually after it closes. Okay? That's where closing costs comes into play. You got to pay the lender somehow. They're going to make a certain amount. Okay? So the easiest way to explain this is this. If you end up paying closing costs, it could be anywhere. Right now, it's in the 2% range of 2.1, 2.25% of the purchase price of a home. So if it's a $500,000 home, that is a $12,000 closing cost, right? Now, I know what your next question is. But my friend says I don't have to pay for closing costs. Okay, time out. Training time out. Yes, that is possible. The down payment is zero. The closing cost could also be zero. It could be added into the balance of what you get pre-approved for. As long as the total amount of the purchase is less than what you're pre-approved for. Example, $500,000 house, right? No. You get pre-approved for a $500,000 loan. You find a $400,000 house, okay? So what's the balance? $100,000. On a $400,000 house, let's assume the worst. Let's say you end up paying 3% closing costs. That's what? $12,000. So now, since you have a gain of $100,000 from that balance, you can add the $12,000 to the $400,000, it becomes $412,000. You're still below the pre-approved limit of $500,000 from your lender. Get that? Right? I know that was kind of quick. I'm trying to, get the below 10 minutes. I'm already at a 15-minute mark. But anyway, these are some of the bare minimum information that you need to know. It's a lot of information. You need, before you even do your research on this, there will be 3 people that you will need to communicate with that will be a part of your team. Yes, there is a team of people that you need to work with. First, your lender. Got to have a lender. None of us, I don't walk around with a bag full of cash to purchase my next house. Okay, so we need a lender. Then your real estate agent, your realtor. Okay, ta-da! Then your escrow closing officer. Your lender to be able to qualify you and to provide you the funding to purchase that home. Let's go to the escrow officer next. They're the individuals that provides all these, that grabs information, and there's plenty of stuff and documents that they will need to conglomerate all of these into a sale from the other side of the transaction table to our side. All right? That includes the title officer, likewise. And lastly, your realtor. They are not the expert in the lending business, nor are they the expert in the escrow side. But we understand both parties, and since we are the primary communicate with you guys, we have to know what they're talking about, what this guy is talking about, put it all together in layman's term, bring it all down so that you're able to understand the situation. The realtor's job is to take you from one process to another, from one step to another, so that when you get to the next step, you are ready. Before you get to the next step, you already know the steps prior to that. It's like reading a Tom Clancy novel. A Tom Clancy novel is about 1,000 pages long, right? That's divided into 20 different, what do you call that? 20 different parts from the introduction all the way to the conclusion and to the end. It's kind of difficult to get to the 10th part of it, page 500, without even reading the first 499 pages. Your agent needs to be able to express that to you. Your agent needs to take you to from one step to the next without you deliberately, without you being intimidated into going into the next step. What does that mean, not being intimidated? Knowing everything you need to know before you go to the next step. Right? My next topic of video is going to be that particular, those steps that you would need to understand the process of home buying. Okay? Trust me, the longer your agent talks to you, the more information you can garner. And the more information that you will... My job is not to tell you to buy a house. My job is to tell you all the information you need to know so that you're comfortable in taking the next step to buy that house. Right? If a guy is telling you, this is what's best for you, well, unfortunately, I don't operate that way. I want you to be comfortable so that you are not intimidated into going to the next step. What is it, 15 years now? I've been doing this job since I retired from the Navy. And, what they've taught us in leadership skills and handling people, I kind of know just by looking at my client's face if they understand what they're going through. So it may not be me. It's okay. There's like 50,000 agents in Washington alone, right? So use me as a resource tool, guys, right? Especially if you're moving up here. That's the least that I can do for you guys. I get it. Being on deployment, just finding a place for my wife and my kids to be comfortable at, to be conveniently living in, for schools that they can go to be safe, not to have to worry about what they have to do. Well, I'm just on my second week of deployment on an 8-month cycle, and if I could be a part of you guys' lives, just the mere fact that I'm assisting you through different ways, let's do it, all right? So use me anytime. I know it's been lengthy. What is it now? 20-minute video. Oh, my God. I didn't like to talk that long. Ladies and gentlemen, to the men and women out there, to our sons and daughters and brothers and sisters, it has been a pleasure, a privilege, and an honor to observe this service wherever you may be. Forward deployed, currently deployed, maintenance cycle, on your training, about to go deployed, and best of all, those that are coming home. I know it's hard. We've been there before. Those watches are long, man, especially down in engineering, and especially when you're just counting the days. But the beauty about leaving is coming home. People are coming home, and people are waiting for you on the pier. Ain't that beautiful? So again, enjoy the evening, and if you guys have any questions, yours truly is here, is able to help you guys out. Enjoy the evening. Post.